We are the Institute for Intuitive Intelligence, revolutionizing intuition by training spiritually fierce women globally as qualified intuitive guides. Subscribe for the leading research and teachings on the conversation of intuition development.
Hello, dear beloveds. I'm just giving it a moment to make sure it actually is live because I'm never entirely confident. There we go. Hi, everyone. I am so delighted to be here with you on this truly celebratory day here in Melbourne. Today, our shops began to open and our cafes and our restaurants, and the sun decided to shine. I just got my hair done, which has made me feel particularly special. And I wanted to take this opportunity to really tap into that glorious energy that is really tangible. Like if you walk around on the streets of Melbourne, there's a lightness in the air, and you know, that's something that I am fully cognizant of, that this 5 million people collective consciousness is received a pretty lovely boost in the last day or so. So it is a very high vibing day, and I wanted to come and spend some time and talk about channeling in the Institute and how perhaps it might differentiate from the ways that we talk about channeling in other contexts, or things that you've heard, or any kind of myths or mysteries about it, because it really isn't mysterious, and it isn't special, and it isn't hard. And it's also a precious, beautiful experience to embody. And it's one of the key parts of the training of the Priestess Mystic Leaders of the third level program. And it's really been something that I've spent a lot of time thinking about. How do I want to share this thing called channeling? Because I think there's a lot of misinformation in the world. And it is also one of the aspects of, I have a very grounded spirituality. I teach a very grounded intuition development. And I think we can often think of channeling as being a bit sort of out there spiritually and a little bit beyond, what science might explain, or how I might be able to fit that into the science of intuition. So I like talking about it because, well, it takes me to my comfort's edge and beyond, and because it's also really essential to the work that I do. And so I don't want there to be misinformation. Like all things, I think once we understand the way things truly function, it can be so much easier for us to embrace them. So I'm going to begin just a little bit by sharing the way that I teach the women in the Institute to open to become the clearest possible channel, and what it is that we're doing in truth. In a quantum reality, what is it to attune to another energy, and why is it just so much a part of what we're able to do in a quantum reality? So I am going to begin there, and then we're going to spend a little bit of time with Mariam, the High Priestess of the third level, and really give us all an opportunity to experience her grace and her power. So we'll begin with a little short introduction on the true nature of the cosmos. So everything is but a vibration. In a quantum reality, we accept that energy first, physical second. Everything is bathed in a field of light, and that and information, or energy, if you like, and that is something we are all part of. So we're inherently interconnected. That is all time and all space, as well as all consciousness. So if we're in a quantum reality and all time, all space, and is inherently interconnected, what moves consciousness, what makes things alter their frequency, is the vibration, or the vibration we hold is how consciousness is moved or communicated with and through. So when we are opening to channel, what we are doing is tuning into a different frequency. So everything is but a vibration. We are all one. Everything that ever was and ever will be exists now. And when we are moving into a different frequency, we're simply tuning in, like you tune into a radio station, to a different level of consciousness within that inherent interconnected field. And really that's it. There's nothing complex or magic or anything about it that's difficult, except when we're looking at it from a Newtonian perspective, or we're buying into the idea of separation, right? So this separation mentality makes us think that when I channel, I'm going out there into some magical space where Jesus or Mary or Kali or some other historical figure or an angel is sitting waiting for me to like tap into their frequency and say, hey, can I, communicate with you now? And it couldn't be further from the truth. If the quantum nature of reality is all is one and all consciousness is inherently interconnected, then there isn't going out there at all. You are the entire ocean in a drop, as Rumi tells us, and therefore we're going within. Whatever there has been in the cosmic consciousness that we call this human experiment is an aspect of self. And so we're not going anywhere to get something that's outside of us. We're going within to access something that may be dormant or latent in our day-to-day life because we're not at that frequency in our day-to-day life. But at will, I can invite my consciousness to go into a higher frequency. And that is what channeling is. So channeling is not mediumship. It's not, any of that stuff. It's going to the highest possible vibration. And so much of what we are doing when we learn to channel is not about how do I access a particular kind of, guise or historical figure or angel. It's how do I prepare myself as the vessel? And the vessel is, the way to prepare that vessel is to be the highest vibration you can. And the whole way to be the highest vibration you can is to be congruent. And that congruence is between your faith and your actions in the world, okay? So there's nothing sort of, there's a special magic gift that some people have and some people don't. We are all capable of channeling because we are all capable of altering our vibration at will. But with practice, with devotion, with discipline, this becomes so much easier, so much more accessible. And so the more you set your intention to be able to hold the higher frequency, the more you will be able to sit comfortably with the frequency of, let's say an ascended master or a brotherhood of light or the consciousness of Jesus. Now, none of those things are actual separate energies out there. They're an aspect of you because everything is one. All is one. So this is a really big idea for us to wrap our head around. When I say you're God, I mean it literally, you are God. When I say you're Jesus, I mean it literally, you are Jesus. When we think about the fact that since the moment of the Big Bang, no more atoms have appeared, that idea, even at the level of the 3D material plane, is true. We are made up of one another. And then when we go to the quantum level and we're looking at that immaterial plane or that pure energy plane, we're looking at the truth that we are sharing the same consciousness. So if I want the medicine or the wisdom or the guidance of that great teacher, Jesus or Muhammad or Mariam, then I simply need to be willing to do what I need to do in my life to be able to alter my vibration at will. And maybe at a certain point in our journey, we can't hold the frequency of that great energy that we identify as Jesus right now, but we certainly can work towards that. And that is what raising consciousness is, dear ones. It's altering our vibration and getting so good at it that we can hold our vibration at the space we want to live at all of the time. So it then becomes redundant. Who am I channeling? It doesn't matter because it's all archetypal energy patterns that are repeating. We know the parallels between these historical figures, these great teachers across religions and countries and philosophies. There's no accident with that. For me, that is absolute truth, that these great archetypal energies are in material form to guide us to our own deepening into truth and understanding. Is there a need for us to identify the guise of who we are actually, a vibrational match for when we channel? And I say no, because what happens when we get into that idea is very often channeling becomes something quite egoic. We can get unintentionally caught up in the idea that I'm channeling Jesus or I'm channeling Mary or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. But actually it's the archetypal energy. So even though I identify Mariam because it is appropriate for me to do that, it's only because I know it is the energy of the High Priestess. And if someone says to me, oh, it's Mariam who is Mary Magdalene or Mariam who is this or Miriam from this religion or faith, I'd say, no, actually, it's all. It is all. It is not one historical figure. It's not one story that you know. It's not one place and time. It is the archetypal energy of the High Priestess, and I am not her only conduit. In fact, anyone at will, if they're willing to do the work of being able to hold a high frequency, is able to channel these great feelings, these great, which really they are, you know, they're vibrational matches for what you're able to do. So the more you're willing to become congruent in your life, the more you can hold that vibration, and the easier channeling will be. It isn't special. It isn't magic. It isn't, you know, that person is the only channel for that. It's absolutely, that is where we get into ego. That's where we start, you know, getting into the guru culture and identifying this as something that it really isn't. It is a function of the quantum nature of reality. And it is a deep, deep blessing to spend time embodying a vibration that is potentially, you know, stretching you beyond where you are right now. So taking you outside of your current normal vibrational state to show you what else is possible, right? And, you know, that's what we want. That is everything we're doing when we show up to our intuition training, when we show up to our spiritual seeking, is how high can I take my vibration? So when we say high vibing, we don't mean like clappy, clappy, happy, happy, silly, silly, joy, joy all of the time. We mean, can I be a vibrational match for the highest frequencies of the cosmos and ultimately accelerate my awakening journey, but all consciousness awakening journey, because there's only one of us here. So that's my little intro. This is obviously big stuff. This is why we spend a year training in this content, because it isn't a simple thing to wrap our heads around the quantum nature of reality, right? It's not something I'm asking you to do in a 10-minute, you know, intro. But it may land with you in a way that is different to this personification, identification with historical figures or with, you know, magical, mystical creatures or whatever, and maybe free you up to realize that you are completely capable of being in communion with these beautiful frequencies, because that is what we're doing. We're simply altering our own vibration to be a match. So I would love to allow my vibration to become a match for that high priestess consciousness right now, and to offer whatever it is that Mariam would like to share with us all, because her presence is very, very beautiful and very grace-filled, and you may already be feeling that in your own subtle body. Even as I begin to attune and allow that vibration to increase my frequency, you may notice and experience that for yourself, because there's only one of us here, and your intention and attention is on me right now, and mine is on allowing that vibration to alter me. And it's all of us, right? It's all of us. So I will just take a moment to tune in, and that is simply about allowing myself to, as I say, like tuning the dial on the radio, tune into the frequency where that energy naturally sits, and allow myself to become connected to that. All right, so just give me a moment. And if you'd like to join me, you're welcome to place your hand over your heart or two fingers at the center of your chest, just signifying to your consciousness that you defer now to the wisdom of your heart, this place of deep states of intuition. You may begin to feel that sense of expansion in your subtle body and relaxing in your physical body. As you withdraw your attention from the superficial world, perhaps even closing down your eyes or resting your gaze on a point in front of you. And just allowing that sense of expansion and opening to your true nature. And if anyone has any questions for Mariam, she's very happy to receive them. I will just begin sharing what is here, and then if you'd like to drop something into the comments, please do, because that invitation is there today. So what I'm feeling is a real sense of openness and expansion, and really one of the beautiful things about channeling and the ultimate endpoint of all of my work is that no words would be required. Now, because I'm here with you and doing a live, I'm going to speak what I'm feeling into words, but really if you would like to just receive this, just give that intention to receive this frequency from Mariam, as Mariam, then please do that, because words are sort of redundant right now. And so if you take time, every moment that you can, not just daily, not just hourly, but every moment that you can, to train yourself to sit outside your humanness. And by that I mean very specifically your identification with your body and your form, and to intentionally create an expansion. Even that act alone of feeling yourself bigger than the way you appear to your dominant senses, giving yourself over to an embodied experience of how vast you truly are, to do that hourly, daily, moment by moment, will be enough to break the shackles of the ego's addiction to form and to over identification with the material plane, and then this shutting down of the vastness of what you are. So this is what happens when we are very concretized, when we're very wedded to our physical identity, when we're very judgmental of our physical form, when we're overly invested in the material plane. We become very heavy and dense, and our imagination, which is the way we receive our intuitive intelligence, becomes shut down or dampened by this over identification with this material plane, which in fact is a manifestation of your consciousness. It is an outward expression of your inward state, not individually, although some of that is there, but collectively. So if you are always looking to the world to confirm how you feel, you will feel constantly like a concrete block. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you must go within to that state of being that cannot be touched by the external dream, this illusory, beautiful picture that we're looking at all of the time and over-identifying with. And we must be willing to alter our vibration as often as possible to feel bigger, energetically expanded beyond the physical limits, to break these shackles. It's like you're in bonds, chains, if you like, and then you give yourself permission every time you withdraw from the illusion to push or loosen those bonds, to break those chains a little bit more each time. And you find one day you come to the practice and their chains have just fallen to the ground, and suddenly your imagination, your intuitive intelligence is so vast and unlimited, and it doesn't contract after you stop paying attention to that, because it becomes an unconscious dominant program, the way to live your life. It is your state of being. It isn't a visitation. It is a constant communion. The chains must be, you must practice the removal of the chains. It will not be all at once. Very rarely for any of you in human form will it be all at once. It is a daily, moment by moment, stretching out your subtle body beyond the limits that your dominant senses have borrowed or inherited from seeing first with your physical sight. We must break our addiction to this, dear ones, and move to the dominant non-physical sight first, so we stay in a state of fluidity. Do you understand? It is this restriction that comes from being overly identified with this physical form that is the impediment. And you see, now let me tell you a little story here. If you create a culture that is obsessed with physical form, how easy it is to dislocate or disenfranchise them from their God nature. Because the obsession with the body, the obsession with the physical becomes so tantamount to meaning, to value, that there is so much over investment in the material plane that we cannot in any way break these bonds. You see why this one will say to you every time you have a negative self-belief, you are concretizing yourself, you are tightening the bonds, you are limiting your consciousness, your incredible capacity to commune, even in this weird spaceship body, is so powerful. And yet the spaceship has become the object of desire, of obsession, and the soul housed within it has become muted by the over investment in the object or the vehicle of your consciousness, that which was meant to transport you. Just like if Ganesha we mistook for the mouse that transports Ganesha, we would be missing the point of the story. We are breaking ourselves free to be God consciousness when we get over our obsession with our physicality. So just this every day, every moment that we can recall it, we just withdraw our attention from the dominant senses and we go within and we feel an instant expansion, and those chains that are binding you begin to break open. It's that simple, and it is that powerful, and it is that important. And in that process, all comes into homeostasis, all comes into proper function, and the healing of the physical illusion is made manifest. Do not treat the symptoms of the dream. Go to God and let that expansion be your healing, the expansion beyond perception of self. If anyone would like to say, ask, do anything right now while this amazing vibration is available, please do. Or you may find that you have received what you need in this moment without needing to ask anything explicitly of this High Priestess archetype. But I will stay for a moment or two more in case there's a lag, and just feel the gratitude for that just glorious, glorious transmission and the willingness of Mariam to be available to us in this moment, which is something I am always humbled by. Okay, well, I think we got what we needed out of that then, and I am so grateful for those of you who joined me live, and to those who will listen back later. Of course, it's a quantum reality, so everything's happening now. And please just sit in the space of that transmission for as long as you can. There's no need to hurry away. If you've got the time and space just to be present, it will continue to flow. And yeah, I'm a bit blissed out right now. I'm like, words, find words. I am pretty confident over in I'm Spiritually Fierce in the next day or so we're going to be kicking off a channeling group challenge, an opportunity for all of us to deepen into our innate capacity to alter our vibration at will, which is what channeling is in the intuitive intelligence model. So if you're not in that group, please jump on over and join us, because it's going to be glorious. I can already tell and see what it's going to look like. I'm still feeling my way through that one, but it is going to be all of us doing the work. All right, dear ones, so much love, and thank you to our High Priestess. I'll see you all soon.